So several years ago, 8 years ago, I had a challenge. My mother had a stroke, and she was in her late 70s at the time, and lost a lot of mobility. A year after, I think she was 78 at the time, had a stroke. 1 year after, I was able, my siblings said I could start working with her. After we went to all the local best rehab facilities that you've all heard of, she still had great limitations. So she couldn't walk without a walker. She couldn't care for herself, feed herself, shower, wipe herself, stuff like that, dress herself. So I reached out to the smartest people I knew of stroke rehab, and they said to look into neurofeedback. Now, neurofeedback, what about this? Where does this come from? So this started all 1965 with NASA. The astronauts were having seizures around the rocket fuel. And basically everything is based on data. In neurofeedback, you put a cap on your head, and we do a thing called a QEEG. So we gather 20,000 data points. With that data, now, just like Google Maps or Waze, we know how to navigate the brain. We know where the bridge is out. We know where the wrecks are. We know where the icy patches are. And with that data, going back to my mother, I was able to get 1 year of almost an 80-year-old post-stroke to be able to walk without a walker.
Wow.
To dress herself, to feed herself, to care for herself in the bathroom. I mean, she felt phenomenal, right? She was able to now do these simple things. And as we all know from a stroke, especially as you're older, a year after the stroke, the honeymoon's over. You've gotten all the quick recovery. That also led to, well, what else can neurofeedback do? And then another dear friend, his child was on a medication at the time, and the medication was giving some very undesirable side effects, but it was helping one thing, but it was breaking another. And sadly, that child, the side effects caused that child to take their own life. And that was my wake-up call of saying, hey, what is inside his head? How do we go and optimize his function with a very data pragmatic approach? Neurofeedback, 1965, I then went and got my board certification in that. Currently, we're the largest clinic in North and South Carolina. So we see hundreds of people. We have people flying from all around the world. We can remote train. And the big conditions we see are ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, insomnia, peak performance. So there are just so many conditions that when the brain is out of tune, we need to tune it up. And we need to have a methodical, logical basis for it. And it's all based on principles we know: operant conditioning, behaviorism, puppy training. You may learn how to ride a bike. Well, that's called neuroplasticity. That's burning these new pathways into your head, and we have the ability to do that with very high success of the people that we accept.